Welcome to a special episode of AFL Uncensored. I'm your host, Teej Johannesson. With me, as always, is my co-host, Omari Fraser. This is an unscripted episode due to some unexpected stealing / signing of players, and we'll get into that. But first, Omari, we've had some requests to do a preseason power ranking, and so you and I just talked a little bit earlier today, and we're gonna dive into that a little bit here. We're gonna give our opinions, in brief form about the preseason rankings. And then the goal will be to interview those teams and players from those teams in that order as we move forward towards the season. So first off, let's talk about what we kind of agreed to, Omar, and then we'll get into it. So right now we have number one team being the Jets, number two team being the Irish, number three team being the Bucks, number four being the Elite, number five being the Pack, number six being Fort Mac, and number seven being GP. So Omar, I'll start with you. What's your thought process on those rankings?
Just I know we had some back and forth on this, and just looking at it, it mainly is like a snapshot from where the league ended last year to off-season activities and things that are happening, and what's been brewing with each team. And I mean, you can't go wrong with putting up Cold Lake. Like, they're the defending champs. I know with them being number one, and I think that's been the clear obvious one being number one. We're expecting to hear what they got brewing and what's happening and everything, and bringing guys back. And it's something where it's pretty hard to go against with that, because they just bring us such a strong team and a very strong defense. And that's one thing where I know I'm going against those guys, and all of them are great, very well disciplined. They're very well disciplined, and you can tell because they all have guys come from different backgrounds, like Teague being from CFL, other guys come from junior U Sport, and you can always tell where guys have played, and when it all comes together, and they all trust each other. Where I feel like that defense is a lot of trusting each other and a high standard in what they hold themselves to. So it's an easy number one there with Cold Lake. What are your thoughts there, Teej?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can put them anywhere but number one. I mean, you're talking about the defending national champions. You're talking about when we went up there, Omari, and played them in the semifinals with the Wolfpack, we were actually the only team to even score on them in the playoffs until they went to the national game. But that defensive line, I remember standing beside some of those guys, and I was like, these guys are massive and athletic, and so I actually couldn't believe it, just standing next to him. And of course, when you've got the league MVP as a defensive halfback in Teague Sherman, I mean, he's obviously doing some really good things, and I can attest to that. Not someone you want to be getting hit by, that's for sure. And
yeah, making business decisions.
100, yes, business decisions all day long, and I'll continue to do that. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit deeper routes this year with me playing back with Brandon and stuff like that as well too. But for me, the biggest struggle was 2-3, right? So obviously, I'm playing for the Bucks, and I want to make these rankings all the time. I'm going to be as honest as I can, because I'm as hard on my own team as anyone, and I'm as hard on myself as I am on anyone. So I was like, I think when we talk about the Irish, and we're going to talk about that today with Tyler and Vardo, but when you look at what they have on offense, in the passing game with the quarterback, who's only getting better, with the speed that the quarterback possesses, which is an X factor, especially in this league, with the running game that they have, which is now going to be three of the better running backs in the league on one team. If you can run the football in this league, you can really wear people down. And then when on top of that, you've got a running quarterback, it makes it really difficult for defenses to plan week in and week out. I think if you're ranking quarterbacks, I don't think anyone would argue that Brandon Lay is the best quarterback in the league. And we know this is a quarterback-driven league. That is Canadian football. So I kind of struggled. We gave it to the Irish on second place right now, just because I think we know a lot about them. I think the Bucks even myself, I don't know a whole lot about what's going on. I mean, it being January and how we're going to end up looking. I know the Bucks offense is going to be absolutely lethal. I mean, it's tough to guard when you've got, Ben Nadiuk on one side and then myself and Xavier Lawrence on the other side. And we're going to add some more receiver talent and running back talent as well on top of having a good O-line. But I think you agreed that right now we'll give that edge to the Irish. But the nice thing about those two teams is they play week 1.
Yeah, so this would be something where the rankings will easily be readjusted, recalibrated, relooked at, and it's just one thing to where I think the bigger edge I gave it to, because I was like, all right, quarterback, like you said, like with Brandon coming back, and with funny enough, there's a few of us who we'll play on the same flag team, and we all joke around, call Josh the specimen, because man walks around in a tank top and he's got all the fans staring at him, but he's a great leader.
That's Josh from the Irish, right? Josh Williams, quarterback.
Yeah, Josh Williams from the Irish, quarterback.
Yeah,
we joke around with that, but he's a great leader. And
you play flag with him?
Yeah, yeah, we all do here, Tyler Barr. So this Saturday's gonna be a little awkward here, just seeing the official post go up, but we're enjoying the last few weeks while we get the chance to ball out. But I definitely it's. And like the one thing you said is that everyone knows about the Irish, and when you look at number 3 with the Bucks, it's yes, you guys got coming back, and yourself, you're going back to play there. Ben's coming back, and Brand's coming back, and so I think those who have experience and have seen you guys play, and I'll recall from 2019, I know the damage the Bucks can do, and so it was a very close 2-3. I was definitely tempted to go 2A, 2B, and go from there.
Yeah, I think it is tough, and I mean it's almost impossible. We're doing this for entertainment purposes, but obviously it's impossible right now. But I do really like what I see in the Irish, and they have a really tough defense as well. I'll say, right now, being honest, the Bucks defense, we're not really sure. We're definitely further ahead with knowing our personnel on offense than we are on defense. But when quarterback is a pendulum shifter, right? So the Bucks are going to be in every game they play, regardless of where they end up or where they're ranking. So speaking of, I think the elite round out that top 4, and then I think it does drop off a bit right now. We'll talk about that a little bit. I think the elite are a weird team because they're going to have talent. They're going to have a really good defense. The question is for the elite is who plays quarterback, right? And they have not had a really good, solid quarterback for their existence, and that's really hampered them. If Edmonton would have had a really good quarterback in either of their years, I mean, they could have been winning championships or multiple championships because they're that good everywhere else. I mean, they were a little bit, I think, lacking at receiver last year. Well, they were lacking at receiver last year. There wasn't a lot of explosiveness. There's not a lot of speed, not a lot of incredible athleticism from that Edmonton receiver core, and the quarterback play just wasn't where it needed to be. And I think they had a new offensive coordinator last year, and he was getting used to it, and so hopefully he's got a year under his belt and can figure that out. But I don't think they're quite there yet. But again, who knows, right? Because they're pretty quiet in what they do, and I know for a fact that they'll continue to be quiet. So they'll like to kind of slide under the radar, and that's fine too. But at the end of the day, regardless of what they're doing, they need to find a quarterback. We'll skip you for a second now because we'll come back to the Pack a little bit deeper in this podcast. But Mac and GP, that's kind of a toss up too. I mean, I have really no idea about Fort Mac right now. I know a couple of their guys might be leaving, and I'm not going to announce those names here, but I've heard some rumors about some key players from Fort Mac possibly moving on to different teams, and that will be, I'm sure, announced at some point soon. But you never know with those guys because they've got a great facility, they've got a good town of football. So, and I hope GP, when we played GP last year, Omari, I remember that was my first game with the Pack. And yeah, we beat them 30-0, but man, those guys were physical. They were hard hitting. They played the game the right way. And I think I made a post about it after the game. And I just said that was, for a team to travel from Grand Prairie to Calgary, which is, one of the longest road trips for any team, to show up with 20 dudes and play balls to the wall for an entire game was really impressive. I know that's what I felt when I played them anyways.
Absolutely. And that's the team now where I'm starting to see, I've been seeing their posts they're making about the people who they're bringing, which with the coaching I do outside of this, I know the Grand Prairie area has a very strong football community, and that's all just been growing, and it'll feed into the GP where guys that are done high school and looking to play ball but stay close to home. That's a great area. So I do feel the Grand Prairie Cowboys have a great upswing. Like they're the ones that have great potential in their stock to really shoot up, and like really excited to see the package they bring out and the product they bring with their guys and all. And they're in a second year in the league. So again, I definitely feel like they have the biggest upswing out of everyone to where I could see them easily coming in and taking, number 4, maybe number 5, and, from there and up. So there's a lot of positive in the league, and that's what we want to see is just overall growth, because it all just goes back to a better product for everybody.
Yes, and I think we all want that, and we all want to play against better competition. Nobody likes playing games that are 50-0. So I know we get to go up to GP this year, and GP is obviously an epic road trip. So I'm looking forward to that one. And to be truthful, like the nice thing about going to play teams like GP that don't usually travel well is I'd much rather play a GP team with 40 guys than a GP team with 20 guys. So I like actually going up there. I think the one last thing on our preseason power rankings, which mean absolutely nothing right now, but we're going to do it anyways. The Jets' big thing is who plays quarterback. So I know Rayshawn might be 50-50 or something like that coming back. I know he's not fully committed. He's weighing a few things, and we will have him on the podcast one day soon. I really enjoyed playing against him and talking to him over the past year, and he does some cool things outside of football like ref as well. But that'll be really key for the Jet, as it is for every team, is that quarterback position. So
quarterback play is a big part in the league, and you just see that in every league. It's every league and every team where those have strong quarterbacks who could drive the ball deep. Completely changes the game from having teams trying to say, all right, we're going to load the blocks with a 7-man, 8-man front, to where, okay, we gotta send some guys back, cover 3, cover 2, cover 4. It's such a big part. And I know we didn't touch on Wolfpack, so I guess we'll dive into it a bit, but that's kind of where Wolfpack's always, you can't count us out because we have the old sheriff Daryl Leeson, but we'll save that for later on here in the episode.
Yeah, no, I've learned that the hard way a few times. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for doing that. And thanks for, I know a lot of people have requested that, so we wanted to quickly touch on that. And then we'll be having the Jets crew join us for recording on Sunday and release episode next week about their season and some other stuff as well. So moving into this podcast. Now, this is, like I said, this is an unplanned podcast that we had to do because there were 2 huge signings made. These are 2 players who happened to be teammates of myself and Omari's last year, so we know quite a bit about them. And, I thought this was a great episode to do because this is what makes the AFL fun. I love that teams are announcing their signings on social media. I know some teams want to keep it quiet, but like if you're listening to this, release your signings, because this stuff is fun. It makes people excited. It gets people excited, and we'll have you on the podcast. So tell your teams to release you as signings, and we'll get you on the podcast. So I want to introduce Tyler Shaver and Vardo. What is your last name, Vardo?
Sidnea.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Vardo and Tyler decided to switch from the Wolfpack to the Irish, and this just got announced. So I guess first off, quickly, each of you in the Cliff Notes version, Tyler, we'll start with you. Your football journey, your football life, and what led you to the AFL.
Thanks for having me. First of all, I just want to say I've been listening to these podcasts and just pumping these out at the gym, and they're real fun to listen to, especially the last one with Dave. It was to hear about all that drama and stuff is good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Honestly, my football career started in Fort Mac, actually. I started when I was 12 playing Pee Wee. I played football until I was in grade 10 in Fort McMurray, and then I moved down to Calgary and I did grade 11, grade 12 for Forest Lawn. And then I got into working right away when I was 18, and I hum and hawed about trying out for the Colts, and I was asked to come try out and stuff. But with the 2 days in the summer and me working full time and not living at home, it was tough to juggle it. So I was like, oh man. And then one day I was playing shinny hockey, and there was a guy that was on the bench with me, and he was talking about football and how he had practice coming up. And I was like, oh wow. And he's like, yeah, it's a senior men's league in Calgary. I'm like, oh, what? That's a thing? And he's like, yeah, we actually have a practice on Saturday. You should come check it out. And that was with the Calgary Gators. So I was like, and then once we did that first indoor, I was like, man, this is crazy. I didn't know this thing was this was a thing. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started and kind of how I got into the AFL. So
yeah, sweet. So
word of mouth.
Yeah, no, and word of mouth is perfect. I mean, that's what we're really trying to do with this, is because I think a lot of people don't really understand about this league or what it is or if it even exists. So, and I know, having played against you and then being your teammate, I know what a force you've been on the field, and I really enjoyed being your teammate and have enjoyed playing against you as well. So I'm glad to see you continue to play in the league, and it'll be weird seeing a different jersey this year, but it is what it is.
Very weird.
Yeah. Vardo, go ahead.
Hey man, how you guys doing?
Doing great, buddy.
Nice. Well, for me, football never really been a thing for me. It's just last year where I finally started off the season with Wolfpack. I mainly just played soccer as a goalkeeper, played some basketball, softball, like all of those games you catching. So I was just like, you know what? Just same thing for me, like word of mouth. Just at work one day, security job, and good friend of mine, Dan, he was like, yo, you want to try out football? I was like, no, why not? My soccer coach always told me, yeah, you should try football. So, yeah, and then, that's just how it started there.
So so I know a lot of people don't know this because they saw the gaudy numbers you put up last year. But so last year was your first ever year playing football. Is that correct?
Yeah, first ever year playing football.
That's crazy.
So blows my mind.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, and I had a front seat view of this. You're right. Catching the football is a gift you have. I'm shocked that nobody in your life ever came up to you and said, you need to be playing football, young man, because you did some things that were quite spectacular. And I know, and especially having literally no idea what you're actually doing out there from an actual standpoint of any experience. And I saw how fast you learned and like literally getting better every half, every quarter, catching balls that were uncatchable and really becoming, Daryl's number one target and Mr. Reliable. So really good on you. And then of course, winning Rookie of the Year and again, just putting up really out of this world numbers for anybody, let alone a first year player. Omari, I know you probably felt the same.
Yeah, it was crazy because I see Vardo from when he first came into the winter workouts, and I'm sure Tyler can comment to this, where you came in, like you could tell like Vardo, you were like straight bona fide, like obviously this guy's an athlete and he just needs to learn the ins and outs of football, and man, he'd be a weapon. And like I'll have Tyler add to this, but every week Vardo, you literally got better. Instead of it being 1% better, it was like 10 to 8 to 5% better every week, and it accumulated over and over.
That's the YouTube, man. I just worked on my mind first. Like that's the key to being a great player. You work on your mind first. So I got mental reps. Like I watch YouTube all day, man. I'm at work watching YouTube videos on how to run my routes better, and that's how it worked there. And plus you guys at practice, like I appreciate you guys for like stopping practice and like, hey, Bardo, you're doing it wrong. This is how you do it. And I would be forever grateful for that.
That's the one benefit when we only had 13 players at practice. There's Vardo, Omari, and myself, so we had loads of time to work on those drills.
Yeah,
so.
That's really cool what you said, Vardo. I mean, clearly what it means to and what it takes to be a worker, and I think anyone listening that is. And I mean, I tell it to every player I coach, whether it be on a team or in a camp, like go watch YouTube or watch football games, not for the game, but what people are doing. Rewind a clip and watch someone on a release when they're getting, everyone wants to ask me all the time, Coach, how do I beat a jam? Don't ask me, go watch. Go watch NFL players beat jams. What are they doing? Slow it down. What's their first step? Is their first step taking them out? Is it taking it in? Where's their hands? Are they engaging into contact or are they not engaging into contact? Right? Don't ask me. Right? Go watch it, because there's nothing more powerful than watching somebody else do something. And I was the same way with you, Vardo. Like when I first came into the AFL, I was a receiver my whole life. And then I transitioned to DB and I had no idea what I was doing. And all I did was watch NFL DBs and learn the technique because I had no idea what I was doing. So really good advice. And that clearly showed. So really good on you. Tyler, I guess we're going to ask both of you these questions. And then I know Omari's got some questions for you guys as well. But as open as you can, because we want this podcast to be honest and uncensored, and we don't want to worry about hurting people's feelings if it's the truth, because facts over feelings That's kind of my philosophy. So I know let's keep it real here, but be honest. So Ty, your decision, walk us through it. You know, what's the process of making a decision to come to the Pack? Who reached out to you? Did you reach out to them? Just kind of talk us through your mindset.
Yeah. Honestly, the decision almost kind of started last year. It was like May. We just finished all our indoors, and then I have a bunch of buddies on the team, and they're like slowly leaving to the Irish, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, are we even gonna have enough guys on this team? And I reached out to Anton on the Irish May 10th to be exact. Just trying to get my feelers out there. I was like, man, like, is this gonna be a thing? Like, are we gonna have any players? I reached out to him, kind of weighed the waters there for a bit, and to be 100% honest, I'm fully open with everything. So as soon as I was talking to Airdrie, I brought it up to the Wolfpack, and I kind of told them where I was sitting, how I was feeling, what I was weighing out, and I hum and hawed for a bit, and then so it started that year, and then I decided to go back to the Wolfpack. I was promised a bunch of things that didn't really happen, like player wise. They said they had a bunch of players coming and got the hopes and dreams all up, and it was just kind of too late. And then I decided to ride with the team again. I had a bunch of players at the time too reach out to me, curious if I was leaving or not. And I was just like, man, if I leave, like, how many people are going to leave if I leave? So I kind of just decided to ride it out that year. And then this year, the year that happened, I was like, man, that was a brutal year. Just having 12, 13, 14 guys at practice every day, no linemen there. We have like 5 receivers, 5 DBs, and it's like, we can't get any plays in. So it was just super tough. And then by the time the year was over, I was all beat and bruised by people not knowing the playbook and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm either going to retire or I'm going to look to play elsewhere. And I kind of had my mind made up that I was kind of going to move on from the Pack. And it was either going to be the Irish or I was going to retire.
I think that's really fair. And I think I feel you on that greatly. I mean, there's really nothing more demoralizing than coming to practice with 13 guys. And unfortunately, living in Sylvan Lake, I wasn't able to make any practices. But it is unfortunate when guys that live in the city don't come and don't put that commitment in, especially when we get, a ton of guys showing up at games and expecting to play.
35 guys.
Yeah. And that I'm hoping with this podcast, and I've said this a million times, but I know some people don't listen to all the episodes, but I'm really hoping to do a lot for the AFL. And one of them is to change the entire culture of the AFL as far as what people view it as, because I think if people view it as a rec league or a beer league, that's when they don't come to practice, right? But I think if we can change the narrative and explain what the AFL really is, which is it's not even close to compared to a rec or beer league, it is so much more than that, then people take it more seriously, and we can hold each other accountable, and especially if the league gets better as a whole, right? Like if there's 4, and there very well could be this year 4 really good teams, maybe even 5, right? Like legitimately good teams in the Jets, the Irish, there's going to be at least 3 in the Jets, the Irish, and the Bucks, like legit elite teams, the best this league has ever seen in a long time. We have not had a top 3 in a long time. And there's going to be at least a top 3. If you throw the elite in there this year, if they can get a quarterback, there is now a top 4, legitimately top 4 grouping in this league. And when that happens, how do guys not come to practice? You really going to not come to practice when you've got to play good ass teams every week, that those games matter for playoff spots and home field advantage? Like, fuck yeah, you are. You're showing up to practice because guess what? Your team's really fucking good too. So if you don't show up to practice, you're not going to get a play. So that's how we do it. That's how we get more people to practice, right? And
that's the key.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask Omari this later. Basically, how do you do that with the Wolfpack? Because they're obviously going through some stuff right now. But it is, I think, one thing is becoming competitive as a league, and then forcing other teams to become competitive as well. Vardo, same question to you, man. Like, what was your factor? What kind of brought you into it? What was your thought process?
I mean, it was not really a thought process because, like, Irish was actually the first team that I knew about in the AFL, and that was I went to their practice. That was the first practice I ever went to. My reason for not playing with Irish the first year was because I'm completely new to the game, and it was too much for me because they actually have like practices where they split up the guys and they do routes and they do drills and catching the balls. Like, nah, this is too much for me. and I actually was gonna not play football, and then I was like, Dan was like, yo, let's just try out Wolfpack. So I tried out Wolfpack. I see it was like a smaller group of guys. It's more intimate, you know. So it was like, yeah, I'll play a Wolfpack. But my process, my reason for moving this year is mainly like I just want to have fun and play football, you know. And plus, like I currently have a kid on the way, and Irish is like literally less than 10 minutes away from my home. So it's like I want to be close to home, and like yeah, that's my main reason for going to Irish, just because it's closer to home.
Okay, so that is a very non-dramatic answer, which is fine too, right? That's just the truth, which is,
That's just the truth.
No, I appreciate that, which is cool, right? So I didn't know that, you know what, and I appreciate you kind of saying, you know, it was a little bit too much at first with the Irish, and I totally understand that it can be a little overwhelming, especially when their expectations were probably a bit higher than the Wolfpacks last year. Omari, go ahead. I know you have some questions for the boys.
Yeah. So for Vardo, what does the next step look like for you in your football development and in the wide receiver position? Because, you know, the first year it was getting the routes, understanding leverage, everything. I know you asked a lot of questions to me and Tyler that, but what do you see yourself taking on for your second year in the league and for your development as a player?
Yeah, man. Honestly, like I'm still learning as we play. Like I still want to learn more because this is just my second year in the league. I'm like, yo, I'm a sponge right now. Like, so I'm playing for Irish now. It's like, yo, teach me what I need to know because I want to be the best player, not even in the league, in the world, you know? Because like I know like I'm capable of it. I take everything like 100%. And so yeah, it's like, yeah, that's basically me there, man. Like I just really want to play some football, you know?
That's awesome. And if my follow-up to that then is, out of your first year development, what would you say is a big key you noticed going against competition that either surprised you or you just were like, okay, like you just became more aware of?
Honestly, like I just got to be more aware of the guys coming at me, man, because I got a hitter down in Cold Lake, and that was the first hit of the season, and it was like, holy shit. I really got to get my head on and not get hit like that again. So I'm just trying to get stronger, man. I really want to get stronger and be able to like crush it this year. Like I'm trying to come back, trying to come here, come to Irish as a whole new player, just being ready to give the league hell.
Mm-hmm. And so is it more like on the strength side, like you feel like, is that where you're like, yeah, that's what the next step will be, where you now know the fundamentals? It's more working on like your power, your strides, that side of things?
Yeah, that's for sure. That side, like, I just want to work on that power, work on everything to make me a better player, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly pretty, you know, it's pretty scary. And I'm annoyed that we got to play you week one. I'm probably going to be covering your Vardo. So I'm going to be, hey, you talk about watching film, Vardo. I'm going back at all the Wolfpack film. I'm watching every route you ever ran. I'm going to do my best to be ready for you.
That's the old fucking Vardo's down there somewhere.
Vardo's down there somewhere. Yeah. Well, I'll be down there too, Vardo. I'm telling you.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I love the competition.
Yeah, baby.
And then for Tyler, my question for you, because I know you've been in the league for a while, how has the league shifted in your time in the AFL from when you started to now? What have you seen? What have you liked as a shift, and what do you want to see change?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like when I first started, there was talent, obviously, but I felt like it was kind of like the big cities were kind of like Calgary, when we both had the big rivalry there. It was actually Calgary, and Fort Mac for a bit there. We're like the top 3 seeded teams there, like 2015, 2016. But I feel like just skill wise, it's kind of balancing out. Like you guys say, we're gonna have like top 4 teams that are gonna be fairly tight, which is nice. Back then, you had like the top 2 teams that were just 97-0, 100-0, just running over teams. So I feel like it's kind of spreading out and evening out a little bit, where games aren't going that high anymore, and there's a lot more talent coming through. So I feel like talent wise, every year seems to be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I agree with that so much. I mean, I think it's kind of bounced back and forth a little bit, but I think for the most part, like, even back like 2010, I mean, compared to, 2015, which was only 5 years, was a huge shift. And that 2015 year with both Calgary teams plus Fort Mac was getting really good. And then 2016, you had the big three that's Brandon Lay's first year with the Bucks. So then you had Bucks, Fort Mac, and the Gators. And then that kind of carried into 17 and 18. And then, Fort Mac kind of fell off, I think, in maybe 19, and the Gators left. Yeah. But now it's this new thing. And I think the league is totally on the upswing now. And that's why I think it's the perfect time to do a podcast like this. And people,
I agree.
People, putting out their signings, and like this stuff is fun. Like when I saw, your face come up in a green jersey, Tyler, and your face come up in a green jersey, Vardo, I was like, at first I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And then I was like, wow, that is huge for the Irish. Not even like, Tyler, for you, it's not even like just you. Like last year you had to basically carry the load for the Wolfpack, and you did a really good job. And I think teams could kind of, because Daryl doesn't have the same arm strength. He's still as smart as fucking ever, but because he doesn't have the same arm strength, before teams could kind of put more guys in the box, and it was tough for you. I think the Irish are going to do awesome for you, but B, just like having three dudes that can come in there. And I know you can play other stuff too, and you can get out in the pass game, and you can block, and you can do all the stuff. So, I mean, I'm looking at, and I'm not, again, because I don't know who the quarterback of the Jets is going to be, I'm looking at the Irish as possibly the most balanced offense in the league right now. The Bucks probably are going to have the best pass game, but the Irish balance is, especially with the quarterback run ability, is going to be crazy. So I know you got to be looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting with the run to pass threat there, especially with the IPO offense at the run.
Yeah, so, and hopefully this year your body doesn't take quite as a beating.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, with the limited numbers that we had, it was like me, Danny, and then Omari. Worst case.
Yeah.
I played.
Omari's a slot back. Omar,
Yeah, exactly. So like, I had the mentality. I was like, I can't go down. I got to keep playing this game. Like, we don't have anybody. Like, Omari comes in as running back. We don't have that second slot.
No,
so it's like I played with a separated shoulder and hurt knee the whole year, and I was just I just banged my way through it.
Yeah, and what was super frustrating, I think, for me, is being a part of that Wolfpack team we had last year. Never played a game healthy. So like when I came, so we had, if fully healthy, we would have had myself, Vardo, Alex Soretsky, Aaron Romilly, yourself, Omari, Daryl. And we never had any of that, unfortunately.
Man, that's a championship team right there.
Oh man,
like,
and we lost Danny in Edmonton,
and Danny as well. Yeah, and that was really tough, because I kept looking and I was like, man, like the way Vardo is progressing, like if there was the receiving core of and Aaron obviously got hurt early, and Aaron's a very good receiver. Alex had some stuff going on and missed a bunch of games, but like super speedy, fast as cow dude. Like there was a ton of potential. It's just unfortunate that it didn't really come to fruition, because that team did have a lot of talent. What are your, and I'll start with you, Ty. What are your expectations individually and as a team this year?
Honestly, individually with the Irish, I'm just wherever they need me to play, and wherever I can help the team the best. Like you said, though, there's three really good running backs on that team with Connor and Marshall and myself. So if I have to play slot, I'll play slot. If I'm playing running back, I'll play running back. There's a lot of running. I'm just here to help the team win. I've been to nationals 3 times. I've never won it. So honestly, that's why I'm still here, because I haven't won it.
Yeah,
so
me too, man.
I just wanna, yeah. So I've been to the ship 3 times, and unfortunately, all 3 times have been in the East Coast. So we might be back there again this year if we can get there. Yeah. But personally, the personal goal is just do what I can to make the team good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then Irish goals are 1-0 every day. So achieve that, and then obviously the end goal is always AFL finals and nationals. So that's where we want to be.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think if a West team can finally, like, winning the national championship home is one thing. Everyone knows it's harder to travel, but if you can win a national championship on the East Coast in Ontario, that would be really special. So
which hasn't been done in a while. I don't
not
think
since, I believe, the 2008 Calgary Wolfpack were the last team to do that. So it's been a long time. It's hard. And I don't even think an Ontario team. I'm trying to think, like, 20. So last year Cold Lake won. Year before we didn't have it. Year before was COVID. Year before that, I think Fort Mac won.
GTA beat the Wolfpack in, I believe it was 2016.
No, that was Fort Mac. That would have been probably 2014. Is what you're thinking? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
2014 they won. Yeah, that's right. Okay, Vardo, what about you? Your individual expectations and your team expectations?
Individual, I want to go back and take that. I want league MVP.
Hell yeah.
That's what I want.
I love it.
As an individual, I want league MVP, first team All-Star. I want to get that again. Yeah, man. For the team, I just want to get to know all the guys, like team goals. I want to get to know all the guys, get along with them, win some games. Like, yeah, I really want championship, man. That's one of my biggest goals right there. Nationals, man, we got to get it.
Yeah, I love hearing you
work hard.
Yeah, I love hearing you talk, Vardo. I love the passion. I love that you're just straight to the point. I love that you're like, I want to win MVP. I want first team All-Star, and I think more people need to say that. And that's not an ego thing. That's a you're setting a goal for yourself, and you're going to work hard to get to that goal. I fucking love that.
And realistic as shit. So.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
You got to say it to believe it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What about, so this is going to be kind of funny, but what do you guys think of, and it might not be super close this year, but what do you guys think of, and Ty, we'll start with you, and then Vardo, you can kind of follow up with your thoughts, what this is going to do to the Pack Irish rivalry?
Hopefully it's all good love, all good there, but obviously I'm gonna love the fact of beating the Wolfpack while being an Irish. I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. It's gonna feel good. But
I felt good beating the Bucks last year with you guys. So
yeah, exactly. I hopefully there's no bad blood there, me leaving and stuff. Like I did it with the most respect and noticed that I could. Like I told them where I was fully sat and everything. So hopefully I'm leaving on good terms. But yeah, it's good. I can't wait. It's on the calendar, so that's for sure.
Vardo, the Pack took you in. They kind of molded you. They were a lot of help for you, and then you left their ass. How do you think that's going to go?
Oh, man. Yeah, honestly, man, like, it was my first year with the Pack. I don't really know about the rivalry stuff. Yeah. I really don't. I have no idea about that. But, like, yeah, I talked to the guys, man. I talked to, like, a lot of the guys. They asked me why I'm leaving, man. I had my case with them. I told them, like, listen, this is why I'm leaving. I got to do this, You got to think on your foot. Like, when you got someone coming at you on the field, like, you want to get as much yards as you can. You ain't going to just drop on the ground like, oh, shit, and hide.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think on your feet, man. Like, that's exactly what I did. I thought on my feet, like, this is the best decision for me, and I'm running with it. I know some of the guys not going to like it. Some of the guys happy for me. But it's like, yeah, I just got to do what I got to do, man. I love the guys. Don't get me wrong. I love them. They taught me a lot, man. Like, I still talk to most of them like they brothers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do, man. Like,
yeah, and I know you love them. I was around you and I saw how much the guys loved you, and I saw the personality that you have, and you're a really likable guy, and I enjoyed being able to play with you, and I appreciate dudes that do what's best for them. I really do. I mean, that's for me. I last year I needed to take a year off of the Bucks for a lot of my own personal reasons. And it was something, getting to play with the Wolfpack was an experience I'll never forget. I really enjoyed, getting to play with Daryl. I enjoyed getting to play with you guys. I enjoyed putting on the purple and white and battling with you guys. And I thought we had a really fun team and a good team. And now everyone's kind of making different decisions. And so I guess that leads me to Omari. Where do you guys go from here for the Wolfpack? Like, this is obviously, we're not going to hide anything here. It's obviously it's a big hit. You're losing, you've lost myself, you've now lost Vardy, you've lost Tyler. Those are three huge pieces of your offense. And that can be a little bit demoralizing, I know, for guys that are possibly you're looking to recruit or guys that are, still on the team. So how do you keep the interest? How do you keep the fire going with the Wolfpack? How do you make sure that the most storied franchise in our league, doesn't fall apart?
It's when it comes to the team operation, I got to give thanks to, Daryl and Rob for keeping things running. And as it goes for team morale with that, like, I guess it's been huge hits to where I remember the moment one of the guys posted the screenshot of Vardo on the Irish Instagram, and it was "Say It Ain't So," and there's some comments about why he left, and guys were saying he had to do what's best for himself and everything, and it was a gut check time for those who are in the chat and on the team where yes, things last year weren't perfect, where our practice attendance wasn't the greatest. It was something to where we just we couldn't get healthy and just couldn't get on the same page. So now as we attack this year, it's always tough because like when I look at on the recruiting side, it's like as much as you can say, oh, we got guys coming, I never really account for that until I see them in person and like get a chance to gauge out their commitment level. So that's always one thing where like I could turn around and say, hey, we got, I don't know, I look at the list, like 50 people who I'll guess the ballpark number, I think it was around 65. I think I sent around 65 emails. Yeah, 65 emails. I've been doing all the emails and all that. But like sometimes 65 people who like inquired about joining the pack. I don't want to boast around and turn around and say, hey, we got 65 guys coming, because I always like to use the rule of thirds when it comes to this. What if 30% of that, what if only like say 30 of those guys show up or 20 of those guys show up? I can't go turn around and say, oh, we have the 60. So I really, for the recruiting side, there'll be more light on that, I guess, when we see the numbers in first winter workouts, which we are having this weekend. So quick little plug, if anyone's out here is in Calgary and you're looking to play men's football, Calgary Wolfpack, we're having our first winter workout. Details on our Instagram there. And then as it goes for team morale, it's really like a gut check for guys to where like, hey, for those who are going to be here, let's make sure we're here for the right reasons. And I know loyalty runs deep with the Wolfpack because it is one of the most storied franchises. And so guys are here, we're really looking to turn things around. And I guess that really starts from the top down where, when I'm talking to people, it's like, hey, we practice twice a week, games on Saturdays. Yes, like we are a men's league. Yes, you got careers and families to take care of, but you got to make this a priority of where showing up to, at least 2 practices a week. Hey, if you got work, cool, but don't be at home sitting on playing Madden all Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like, we got Red Deer, Irish, pretty much everyone in the league where it's up for grabs, ready to compete. So I think it's going to be just give everyone a little taste of what that is. And, I know Wolfpack's always done a good job bringing in new players, and I've just been working my connections on that to where really ensuring that we got a good relationship with the Dinos, the Colts, surrounding teams, coaches that, they know players in the city. And that's kind of my secret weapon that like I know most teams won't know about me, but I'm quite connected in the football community. So it's always a thing where, always just talking, seeing around and asking around and seeing what they have. Because you never know, because we're in the city of 1.3 million in Calgary. And I'm sure we can easily find 40 players that would love to play football again and go from there. So it's just a matter of marketing, which is a big part, which just this year I've taken over. But again, I don't want to go and boast it because we could easily have, let's say, 20 or 30 show and have it not be a great number. So end of the day, it just keeps building and just correcting the culture that it happens. But I think I've been rambling here for a bit. But I know speaking with the higher ups within Wolfpack is really working on getting a coach. Because when I look at the 2019 team, we had Keon Raymond.
Yeah.
No issues with missing practice or anything like that. Absolutely nothing.
Accountability was high. Yeah.
Way high, and that was so huge. Yeah. So I think that's obviously step one is we got to get a coach. It doesn't need to be a high level coach, but someone who's going to hold everyone accountable to. And I know it's tough in men's because we're all men, but just fall in line to a vision that one captain will steer. And so I think that's going to be a big part that we'll look at getting corrected. And from what I've been hearing, there's been some conversation. So hopefully there's some news there, and this culture can start to shift and get back to our ways.
Yeah, I think, and I'll say for anyone listening to this, having spent a year with the Wolfpack, I have nothing but good things to say about the entire organization and the people involved and the team as a whole and a history. And I think that, again, it's something that people need to hear about. And I know that you're doing a good job of that, Omari, and getting it out there. And hopefully this podcast helps. If you're in the Calgary area, like take a look, right? Like you've got 2 teams to choose from. Take a look. You've got unique different options to weigh. Like, for example, like, Airdrie plays on a grass field, Calgary plays on a turf field. Like, what does that matter to you? Like, these are all things that people need to be able to look at and decide and make those decisions. And I think a couple like, I don't know if this is like who makes these decisions or what the cost is, but I can tell you right now that if Omari, if the Wolfpack could ever get their practices not on a terrible grass field, especially since you have so many turf fields in the city, like practicing on turf makes a difference. Like practicing on grass honestly sucks, especially because all these grass fields you practice on are just fucking shit, right? Like you're not practicing on,
half of it's not mowed.
No, it's terrible, right? Like they're not mowed. There's no lines on the field. It's just like football's a landmark game, right? Like how do you play a landmark game when you don't have landmarks to practice on? You know what I mean? So I think little things like that, I'm not trying to like say anything, but I know for me personally, like that stuff kind of matters. At least with, I don't know where Airdrie practice, but at least they probably have lines on the field when they practice. But
and our indoors are free. So
and indoors are free. Little plug for Airdrie too. Hey, this
they're not.
Yeah, this podcast is not
$10.
biased. You can also go to Airdrie. We want to be, but I want people like I want the Wolfpack to to compete, right? Compete for those players. Build your brand.
100%.
Yeah. Like use.
I've been with them since 2016, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. They've never done me wrong. This is purely just a business decision, and honestly, the Pack's a great team. It's just at this time it's not a fit for me, but that's it. It might be for somebody else, right? So
I would really sell, like if I'm recruiting for the Pack, like I'm selling the chip on the shoulder. Like I'm selling, everybody thinks we're going to suck. Everyone thinks we're going to fold. Come put on this uniform. This is the best team to ever suit up in this league for years and years. The only team to win a national championship down east. Like there's a lot you can sell with that team, right?
Still have the legend.
Yeah. Still the legend. Yeah. Omari, anything else for these boys? Oh, go ahead, buddy.
I think the other thing too, when it comes to, when I think of rebuilding the team, it's strong defense, offensive weapons. Like I know it sucks losing Tyler and Vardo, and I guess we'll assess and see and who we have coming, new recruits and everything, and all on that side. But it's protect Daryl, and then locking down a solid defense to where keep things to a low scoring game and let Daryl go to work. It can be as simple as that, or it can be as hard as that. So. But that's what I know what we're thinking of, and of course, as I'm going here, I'm thinking of now. I need to make sure we find guys that can, help fill the holes, fill the box, go against the front seven of Airdrie, and I need to find me a DB that can lock up Vardo here.
yeah. That's.
Is this Omari? Is this Daryl's last year? You think?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I don't know. It's tough to see because I feel like.
Daryl got lots of years on him, man.
Yeah.
Last year he wasn't like fully healed. Like he still was injured.
Yeah.
And he played a hell of a season.
And people don't realize that the dude came off a shattered leg the year before.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. Like no, literally crazy. Like the guy clearly loves the game of football, and I loved playing for him, playing with him. Like it was just, I mean, I had a blast, and I've always had a blast playing against him.
One question I'm looking forward to asking Daryl is his football itch, and asking, okay, what's driving you to be the Tom Brady of AFL?
So
60,000 passing yards or something.
Yeah, I actually know the answer to that question. I'm not going to say it. I'll leave that to Daryl because I asked him that exact question last year. I was like, what the fuck are you still doing out here, man? Like, honest to God, you just shattered your leg last year. Was that not like a sign to step away? So we're going to have Daryl on here. Absolutely. Cause obviously the guy we'll probably have him on multiple times because the stories he's going to be able to tell are going to be incredible. Omari, anything else for these guys?
No, I don't. That's all the questions I got for you with Tyler and Vardo. I'm looking forward to our flag matchup here on Saturday. We'll be all playing the same team, but Tyler Vardo, do you guys have anything you want to say or ask us here?
I got a question. Are you guys ready for the season? I'm bringing that power, man. I'm bringing that with
Oh yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
Bardo is like raring to go.
That's a
man.
Tyler question.
Yeah.
That's a match. That's a week 1 matchup that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good.
I'm gonna be. You know what? I'm super excited for it, Vardo, and I'm excited.
Oh, me too, yeah.
Just hearing you talk just kind of revs me up. I want to go run around in my backyard right now. But yes,
Man,
I'm ready to go. I'm so excited for the season. Like just again to think about having 4 legitimate teams that could win a championship, and who knows, like maybe the Packer, maybe 5, but at least 4, possibly 5, 6, or 7. That's unbelievable. Like, how can you not love that? I can't wait for personally to get back out in Red Deer, get all those fans out again, and just the hype of the league. Like, I'm raring to go. Omari, you got to be raring to go.
Oh, trust me, I'm ready to go. You know, if it's the case now where with Tyler gone, I step into the backfield. A running back is my natural position, but I've been playing slot back more of the Wolfpack, so it'll be interesting if I have to step back into that role or not. So man,
I like you as a slot. You got soft hands across the middle, man. I don't know. I really like you. I know you might like running back, but I know when you came to the other side, the other slot back side of me, I felt more comfortable because I knew they weren't shading coverage to me. Like they had to respect you over there. So I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but I do like you out there.
Yeah, it's
gonna
be interesting to see who's in the backfield next year for the Wolfpack.
Yeah. I got some guys, but we'll wait and see.
Okay, so everyone, thank you for listening. This was we didn't mention that we were doing this podcast because we just decided to do it today. And I think this was a cool thing to do. I think we'll do more of this as this comes up. Like, why not? Omari, finish this off. Let them know all the good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, this was great to bring you guys both on. You know, you broke the AFL free agent tracker. TSN turning point in the off season. It's just that one meme of where people are just watching the screen and having popcorn. But hey, you can check us out at on all your local podcast platforms, Apple Music, Google, Spotify. Give us a like, give us a rating. You can also check us out on YouTube. All our episodes do get uploaded there as well. That way, then you can watch them at work. You know, if you guys are one of those people who like to have some YouTube playing in the background, feel free to give us a subscribe there. And hey, look, we're growing week by week, and the excitement for the league and the season is getting better every day. So appreciate you guys listening in and tuning in.
Awesome. Thank you, Vardo. Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks. See you, boys.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
You too, brother.